new favourite electronic act. If you haven't heard of Bronze Whale, you must have been staying away from the hype machine and just about every new music blog on the planet. It's my great pleasure to welcome to the show Benny and Jakes, the masterminds behind the exquisite cacophony of remixing that is Bronze Whale. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, hang on a second. There are two of you. How does that work? How do two people physically take on a remix? Who is in charge of what?
Well, we both basically just, we sit down together and shoot ideas back and forth and really just kind of ping pong it back and forth between the two of us.
Okay, but does one of you take care of the beats and the other one takes care of other things? I mean, I can't imagine physically how that works. So can you give us an idea?
I think, both of us with each different song will kind of have different ideas of where we want to take it. So it definitely feels like that with every new remix or track that we'll start, one of us will hop on something different. Aaron may start a beat and I may hear a synth line that I want to lay into it. So we definitely kind of ping pong back and forth, but it definitely, it's just kind of on a song to song basis.
I've been listening to a lot of your music, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are doing the same kind of thing, and I have no real idea how to categorize your music, so I'm not even going to try. But tell me this, what is your goal when you remix a track?
Well, honestly, our goal is to make just something that we're personally proud of. I've had conversations with other people that have asked us about genre classification or really anything like that. And, I can say honestly that when we sit down to start something, we have very little of a kind of a preconceived idea of what we're going into. A lot of it just kind of happens. A lot of really, really, really
definitely just a
mistakes.
BPM. That's really all. Day one, we start with the BPM, but I think it's the same thing. When both of us hop in a car, we really never just stick to a genre with what we're listening to. So it definitely kind of filters into the music because we're both kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I've noticed. The music's electronic. At first, I thought this is not for the club. And then I heard the Honey Claws remix that you did recently, and I was like, okay, this is a completely different sound coming from you guys.
We're definitely, we don't really have a real strong, need to try and match one particular sound. We're definitely sort of feeling out, all the possibilities with the software that we use, and I think ultimately. I would like to be able to have something that is easy, that will flow well from one song to the next for live presentation. But at the same time, I'm really happy with being able to be very multi-genre.
So you're talking about taking this live. Have you performed live? Excuse my ignorance if you have.
Well, yeah, I think Jake's definitely comes from a kind of lineage of Austin producers that do live sets. I've done some live stuff, but it's definitely been on a smaller scale. But yeah, we kind of primarily focused in the beginning on just creation. But lately it's definitely, kind of hitting that point where, we're looking forward to kind of getting out and doing some live stuff. So together we haven't done anything live yet.
Mm-hmm. The internet has gone absolutely Bronze Whale crazy in the last few weeks. I don't think I've come across a music blog that hasn't featured your work, and your SoundCloud page has gone absolutely crazy. What's going on?
We're real fortunate, there's somebody out there that is shining down on us, likes our music, and people like you helping us out.
Well, thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, a big part of it to me has been just kind of connections, hopping into this and kind of being a little wet behind the ears into the whole creation process. I've found really quick in the past year how many people are just so jazzed to hear new stuff and to really push it, without much effort. So it's been really cool to see so many people kind of hop on board and help us out with it.
Okay, well, take us back a little bit and tell us how you actually got started with remixing.
Well, as far as us remixing together, I actually met Jake through a music program called Turntable.fm, and a couple of my friends would actually just sit in there and play their own remixes of music, and he popped in one day, and we just kind of started talking about musical influence, and so I actually started more just kind of as a student. I met Jake's to learn how to do production, and I think we kind of sorted out really quick that I had a huge interest in it. He had a background in doing remixes and originals with some pretty awesome rappers and singers nationwide. So I think after the first track that we did together, which was the Mike Snow song, we figured out really quick that there was a lot of energy when we worked together, and just kind of the right amount of bickering over stuff. We were both really interested in what we were putting out. So.
Okay, and how do you go about selecting a track for remixing?
Well,
oh man.
yeah, I mean it's really just kind of a digging, listening process. I mean, naturally a lot of our first songs were a lot of bootleg, and we would get lucky enough to get a couple of exclusive remixes in there, but a lot of it is just digging through. I mean, naturally. Hype Machine is a really, really great resource to find new music, and so we would definitely stay on top of Hype Machine, look at what's trending, what's popular. Another thing that's pretty important to us is also finding something that's relatively new and unheard of. We in the beginning we were definitely the champion of the underdogs and trying to find people that really no one had heard of, and see if we can maybe put a new spin on something and give it a different sound quality that may not have been there before, or just a completely different genre. And try and help promote other artists, and we got a really good response from a lot of people from doing that. And now we're getting thank goodness we're getting a little bit more people requesting us to work with them. So the digging is becoming a little bit less, but listening to as much music as possible is really the only way that we found what we wanted to work with.
So people are now approaching you, asking you to go ahead and remix their stuff, right?
Yeah, we're definitely getting a lot more of that.
Your beats are nothing short of insane. Tell me the trick. Are you channeling this stuff from another dimension?
Well, my actual background is drums. My core instrument started as a very, very young kid with drums. So that's something that is it's important to me to make sure that the drums are very intricate. In a lot of the music. We incorporate a lot of sample drums. We also use V drums, so the Roland V drums, and do some actual live drum sampling as well.
Drums are definitely something that we go back and forth on a lot. I think you can get in a synth or find a top end sound for a song that's pretty, that just needs a little bit of tweaking. But when it comes to the drums, I mean, being an instrument, a sound that's going to be in almost any song out there, it's definitely something that we put a lot of focus into, because it's just, listening back in so many different environments, drums just constantly sound different everywhere you're listening to it.
Yeah, I mean, just back on the topic of just remixing itself, is it the new music making? Because the way that you transform songs utterly from what they originally were, it's very inventive in a way. It's almost more inventive than making original music. Do you think that the best new artists of 2012 are actually remixers?
I love it, man. I think seeing lately how many remixes are getting levels of attention that originals sometimes aren't. I think both of them have a very important place, but I've been really stoked to see how well remixes have done, and just how people kind of hear something that inspires them and want to show you, what they made out of that. It seems pretty cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that a lot of I think one of the big explosive things in the EDM culture now, and I think one of the things that is inspiring all these remixes is, I've had some conversations with some friends about, new technology coming out. And I think the fact, places like, Guitar Center here in Texas, and places that have a lot of really high-end equipment that is now consumer level and now very inexpensive. And the fact that kids can have these, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gear all packed into one little computer, just in the corner of their room, have some decent near-field monitors, you can come out with some pretty amazing sounds. And so I really feel like that, electronic music and remixing culture and a lot of that is in a way kind of a music renaissance.
Which other remixes out there do you listen to a lot, or do you admire?
Lately, I'm absolutely in love with Seven Lions, guy out of California. There's a handful I love. Feed Me. definitely a good guy. I think he went by Spore doing drum and bass for a while.
Maybe just drifting a little bit away from remixing, have you actually made any original music, or do you intend to?
Oh, there's tons of little snippets all over the place. I think originals it's different because it's, in a way, it's, remixes, there's a power to them where you take something that is familiar to someone. It's almost like this age of watching movies that are coming out to where, they're almost like remixes of something you used to know, but it's so cool to see what technology has brought now. That's the same thing with remixes, but originals, on the other hand, when we start working on those, it feels a little different. It's just 100% you. And so I definitely think we both have those on the horizon, but it's something that takes a little bit more time.
Okay, and I've seen...
I could definitely say in the next few months, you could probably look out for an EP of originals from us.
Oh wow, that is an exclusive. Looking forward to that. I'm not sure if this is true, but I saw this on a YouTube link, and it was saying that one of your releases was out with Warner Music Spain. Is that right?
Yeah. We had a track we did for a remix for Kirsty Keach, which is she's a really cool chick, really great singer out of where was she based out of?
I think Edinburgh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and she was just really high energy. She approached us right after Our Lips came out, and that was kind of my first real experience with someone kind of being moved by something we had made and really wanted us to put a spin on something she created, which I definitely loved. But yeah, she had an album with Warner.
So, is there any other major label interest in Bronzewell at the moment?
Hope so.
I don't know. I think we're at this point we're just sort of kind of riding the wave of the success of some of these recent releases, and kind of honestly hoping to kind of stick with that and if at all possible keep it independent. But we'll see how it all goes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the plan is just, so far the way we've taken this for this entire first year is, we just keep making content we're proud of, and we just love each kind of, it's like small steps, but they definitely feel important, each one of them.
One more thing just to ask you, if people want to know more about Bronzewell, where do they need to start looking?
Well, I think honestly, hopping on Google, and I do this a lot for artists, remix artists that I like, since it is a different genre of music, and it's not just going to show up on every record label's radar, is really hop over to different blogs, and once you find a blog that carries one of our songs, it's always a good shot to find something else you're going to love. So I definitely love seeing our stuff show up on these different blogs, because it really gives you multiple people's insights and feelings about the music we make.
For sure. And of course, always check out, www.soundcloud.com/The Bronze Whale. And also facebook.com/The Bronze Whale. And you give us a follow. And, if you have anything to say to us, we'll definitely respond.
Thanks once again to you, Jakes and Benny. I hope I got your names correct. Anyway,
Yeah.
Bronze Whale, once again on the show. Fantastic music. And thank you very much again for the interview.
Hey, thank you, man. Have a good one.